All right, so here I have my grid ready to go. I've got my image. I've got, four across the top, three going down. That matches this image. So now I'm ready to start drawing. And I'll just kind of show you too on your phone. So here I have the image on my phone here. And this is handy because I can go box by box when I'm drawing and I can zoom in, and what I'm seeing here is what I'm going to put here. What I see here, I am going to put here. So zooming in on a phone or tablet device is really handy for that sort of thing because you can just move around. But if you have a printer and can print it out, that comes in handy too. And you can do things like take an extra sheet of paper and cover things up so you're only looking at one box at a time. So that's the whole purpose of a grid drawing. That's the reason why you use the grid in the first place, is so that you can work box by box, and what you see here is what you draw here. So to get this started, just to kind of show you, I'm just going to just position this a little bit differently to get comfortable with the drawing. And I can have even both of these. That's great too. If you can print it and have a reference on your device, that's very helpful. But basically, what you are going to start with is just the contour outlines of the animal. So you are going to look at where the starting point is, so how it kind of comes down here, and I would start at that point. Now, this line from here, as it goes down, it kind of starts to go down. I notice there's another little kind of divot that pops out just a little bit, and then it continues to go down. Now, this method of drawing is very helpful because it forces you to look. It forces you to see, and that's what drawing is all about. It's about looking and observation and noticing. So the grid drawing is going to help you by dividing it up so you can see all these little areas. So in fact, I don't even have to think about the fact, perhaps that I'm even drawing a turtle. I can just think about like what direction the line is going, or what shape I'm drawing, or eventually when we start adding some shading, is it light, is it dark, and so on and so forth. So those are just some kind of helpful tips. And you can see I've erased a little bit here. That's the point of a contour drawing. It's so you have time to lay things out where they go, get things in correct proportion and placement before you even start to add your shading. So what I'm really focusing on is just these major kind of lines and shapes that I'm seeing. And I'm just trying to kind of lightly sketch them in to like the best of my ability. And I can refine and add shading and all that other kind of fun texture stuff later. But if I do this part first, I can make sure that it's accurate. I can make the changes that I want to. Now, the other thing to talk about, different styles, the more realistic you want it, the more exact you want to capture everything you see. Now, you can choose to have it as realistic as you want. Or sometimes what I like to do is just sort of interpret kind of loosely what I see here, kind of over here, and maybe generalize the shapes a little bit more. To me, that's going to translate into a more like stylized drawing versus like a more realistic drawing. So either's fine. I would just say, draw the kind of details and things that you think are major, and that you think are most important when you're looking at your animal image here. And like I mentioned, when we're breaking it down like this, we don't always even connect to the fact that we're even drawing an animal. It can almost look like we're just drawing shapes and lines, and that really can help our brains a little bit with this drawing process and learning to draw. And I'll say the grid is really helpful for some people. Some people find it frustrating. So, another thing I want to mention, if going box by box is really challenging for you and your brain is like, I just want to see more, here's your other option. So, that was kind of number one. The first thing you could do is go box by box. But if you're not liking that option and you like to see this full image and you want to kind of get, for example, maybe I want to get the kind of basic shape of the turtle head in first. And I'll be honest with you, this is kind of how I tend to draw a little bit more versus going box by box. I kind of like to get major kind of outlines in. But I want to show you both ways because we're all different and we all draw differently and work differently. So you can kind of follow the process that you think is best for you. And we can still erase and still refine things, and that's why you want to keep your pencil pretty light. I'm just using this 2H in the beginning here, so then I can just kind of keep going around, look at kind of all these major kind of details. And actually I'm seeing some stuff I missed in that first box anyway, but it's kind of just rushing through. And that's the thing is, as you go box by box, if you notice, oh, hey, I missed something or I forgot something, you can still erase and add it in. Like, this is a process. And your drawing doesn't have to look perfect the entire time you're doing it. You can make mistakes, you can fix things, you can erase things, step back from it, ask your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, their opinion. Perhaps, other people see things sometimes that we don't. So sometimes it's helpful to have just another eye on it. Okay, but you can see how I'm starting to look at what I'm seeing and drawing what I'm seeing. Okay, and this line, I can see that kind of curves around. And it kind of arches through this third box here. Okay. And then there's kind of this second bump back here, and this kind of curves around. So that's the basic process of what you're going to do, and you're going to just go box by box, or like I said, you can draw kind of the major shapes, and sort of hop around to the different boxes too. The process is really up to you. Both work the same and are great. It's just kind of based on how you learn best. If it's helpful for you, you can always label like 1, 2, 3, 4 and do the same if you have a printed image, if that's helpful for you for lining things up. So yeah, have fun, draw your contour, take your time, check yourself, go back and look at the shapes that you're drawing, see if they match up. Kind of a fun variation, if you're getting sick of looking at it this way, you can actually flip upside down and draw this way. You can just draw upside down because the idea is still the same, right? It's just I am now looking at it from a different perspective, but I'm still just drawing what I'm seeing and just trying to mimic what's in each box here, and just go ahead and draw that in. The idea is still the same, no matter if it's upside down, no matter if it's this way, no matter if it's this way. So sometimes just moving it around can help your brain a little bit with the drawing process. So something to try if you're feeling stuck.